Alright, let's give this a shot. This is attempt number 3 at making this video. The first time, my dogs decided to bark and the cat decided that he wanted to give his input as to how one should use the FOIL method. Second time, for whatever reason, 5 minutes into the recording, it decided to stop recording my voice, so it was just nothing but me waving a mouse and writing things on the screen without any explanation. So if that doesn't convince you that I am not a video editor, producer, or anything of the sort, I don't know what will. This is probably going to be awkward until I get the hang of it. The only way I will improve is if you guys send me feedback. Let me know if there are not enough examples. Let me know if I move too quickly. But as of course, whenever we go over an example, or like we're about to do, an introductory problem, you are more than welcome to pause the video, attempt it for yourself, see if you get it. And if you do, then you can probably go ahead and skip the explanation and just go straight for the final answer. After that, after you guys send me your feedback, I'll basically apply any changes that you all suggest. Also, in the first recording, my microphone was way too close to my mouth, and I blew out my own eardrums with audible, like, puffs of air, and the bass just exploded, and it was crazy. So hopefully that does not happen this time. I have never taught online before, and that's going to be evident as we move forward, but I promise I will improve. But I need your feedback to do so. Alright, so here's our introductory problem, or our bell ringer, if you will. And I downloaded this onto my main desktop, ActiveInspire. I've never used ActiveInspire on my desktop before, and it is for whatever reason, the version I have is a couple of updates behind. So things look a bit strange, and I'm going to get lost in the toolbox a couple of times, but that's okay. It's 1:40 in the morning, and I'm very much ready to have a flawless run. I've had 2 attempts already, and this is going to be the magic one. Alright, so we are going to use the box method to find the product of this following expression right here. We've got 2 binomials being multiplied together. We're going to go ahead and put the terms in our first binomial. We're going to go ahead and write those right here on the left side of the box. We have our 3x to the power of 3. Also, yes, I am writing with the mouse. So if things look a bit uneven and curvy and blocky, that's the reason why. I am getting pretty good at it, though. During that first take, though, it was a bit rough. Okay, and we're going to write our terms that make up our second binomial right here. Already made a mistake. Okay. We've got it all set up. Let's go ahead and use the box method. We're going to multiply all of these terms together, 2 at a time. So we'll start with 3x to the power of 3 times negative 5x to the power of 2. We're going to multiply our coefficients first. So the 3 and the negative 5, multiply those together, and we get negative 15. And then x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 2. We keep the base, and then we add the exponents together. So 3 plus 2 gives us 5. Move on down here to the next box. We have negative x times negative 5x squared. This does not have a coefficient in front of it, so I'm going to put a 1 there in the front, just because I like to see it. Negative 1 times negative 5 gives us positive 5, and then x to the power of 1. Okay, it has no exponent. which means that it has an exponent of 1. I'm going to multiply those together, and that's going to give us x to the power of 1 plus 2, which is 3. Moving along up here, we get 3 times negative 11. That's going to be negative 33. And then this term does not have an x or a variable of any kind, so the x to the power of 3 just gets rewritten exactly the way it is, just like that. And we'll use pink. Okay, now negative 1, x to the power of 1 times negative 11. Multiply the coefficients, so negative 1, negative 11 gives us positive 11. And then x to the power of 1 just goes in our answer exactly the way it is. And now we're going to write our answer, combining like terms along the way, but also making sure that our term with the highest degree is in the front, and then our term with the lowest degree is in the back. So we have negative 15 x to the power of 5. We're going to combine these two together. Okay, so we're going to have x to the power of 3, and then because we're combining like terms, we're just combining the coefficients. So we combine those together. Those are different signs, so they subtract. So that's going to give us 28. And we keep the sign of the bigger number, so it's going to be subtraction. And at the end here, we have our 11x. Okay, the power of 1 does not need to be written, and because it's positive, we're going to fill the space with a plus sign. And there we go. That is the product of the following expression. Let's go ahead and move on to the purpose of today's lesson. So I know last week and the week before, when we were talking about multiplying monomials and binomials and trinomials and all that good stuff, I mentioned there were two ways of doing it. The box method proved to be something that you all picked up fairly quickly, so I wasn't sure if I was going to teach the FOIL method. I think I will, though, especially, as we adjust to online instruction for a little bit. I think it would be nice to start with something that we're somewhat familiar with, and we can connect it to something that we've covered in the past. But even though I am teaching the FOIL method, if it turns out that you prefer it to the box method, excellent. Feel free to use it instead of the box method. If you hate the FOIL method and you prefer the box method, that is okay too. I will not ask that you use one over the other outside of the two examples that I'm going to go over in this video. Okay, in the two examples that I go over, I would like for us to use the FOIL method. Okay, but whichever one you end up using, like the I will statement says, as long as you can calculate the products of polynomials using one method or the other, that's all I want. Okay, but I would like for you to also be able to describe what it is about your preferred method that you like more than the others. So if you prefer the FOIL method, tell me what it is about the FOIL method that you like. Or if you like the FOIL method simply because you hate the box method, tell me what it is about the box method that you dislike, or vice versa. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So what we have here, the word FOIL, stands for first, outer, inner, and last, and it describes a different way of multiplying binomials together. You can apply it to trinomials and monomials and polynomials as well, but we're going to stick with two binomials, and this is the exact same problem from our bell ringer. So we should end up with the exact same answer, and we're going to work through the FOIL method from left to right, starting with the F for first. And first means that you're going to begin by multiplying the first term in each binomial. Okay, so the term on the left, okay, of each binomial. So we're going to go ahead and multiply the coefficients first, just like we did using the box method. So negative 3 times, 3 times negative 5 gives us negative, oh my goodness, negative 15. And then x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 2 gives us x to the power of 5. Okay, and just like that, we are a quarter of the way through the problem. We've multiplied the first terms together. Okay, and there we go. That's what we should have gotten. Okay, now we're going to move to the O, which stands for outer. So now we are going to basically multiply the two terms on the outside, okay, or the ends of our binomials. Okay, so 3 times negative 11. Let me switch to green. Stay color-coded. Gives us negative 33. And then there's no x's to multiply. Or there's not a second x in this term here to multiply with this one. So x cubed, or x to the power of 3, just goes into our answer exactly the way it's written. And there you go. Moving on to the I. Okay, for inner, now we are talking about the two terms in the middle. Okay, on the inside of both of the binomials. Okay, so I'm going to put the 1 right here just because I like to see it, and I'm going to put the 1 up there as well. Multiply our coefficients. Negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5. X to the power of 1 times x to the power of 2. Keep the base, and we add the exponents. So 5x cubed. 5x cubed. There we go. And we will, appropriately enough, end with last, okay, which is what the L stands for. And that is the last term in each binomial, okay, or the term on the right. Okay, the first terms are the two terms on the left. The last terms are the two terms on the right. Okay, and once again, just because I personally like to see it, I'm going to add the coefficient of 1 and the imaginary exponent of 1. Negative 1 times negative 11, stay color-coded, gives us positive 11 this time. And then, once again, no variable to multiply over here, so that x to the power of 1 just goes just like that in our final answer. And there it is. Now we combine any like terms and write our answer in standard form. Okay, with the largest or highest degree term out in front, so negative 15 x to the power of 5. We're going to go ahead and combine these two guys right here, or gals, I don't know. Combine them together, different signs, gives us 27. Oops, not 27. 28 x cubed. And we keep the sign of the bigger number, okay, which is negative. So it's going to be negative 28 x to the power of 3. And over here, we're going to end with our positive 11x. So negative 15 x to the power of 5 minus 28x cubed plus 11x is our final answer. And I do believe that that is the exact same answer we got using the box method. Let's go back and see. Negative 15x cubed minus 28x, negative 15x to the power of 5 minus 28x cubed plus 11x. And there we go. We have successfully used the FOIL method. Now, on the con assignment, which is not this one, that's going to be for pre-algebra. Okay, let me go here, multiply binomials. On this assignment here, if you look at cons instructions, or if you watch, basically any other video on YouTube or wherever on the FOIL method, you're going to see a lot of arrows going around the entire thing, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Scoot this over. So, let me write it over here. So, foils, F-O-I-L. What you're going to see is you're going to see basically the same arrows that we draw when we use distributive property, because that's basically what the FOIL method is. You're basically doing the distributive property 2 times. Okay, so we start with the first terms. Okay, we multiply those together. Okay, and then we move to the outer terms. Okay, so you would see an arrow like that, multiplying the 2 outermost terms. And then third, we have the inner 2 terms. Okay, so you'll see an arrow like that. And then last but not least, over here, you have the last terms. Oops, I'm sorry. That is absolutely incorrect. The last terms. There we go. And yeah, if you look at the help section in Khan, you look at other sources, that's what it's going to show you. If you are someone like me who prefers to highlight, by all means, just because most sites don't do it doesn't mean that you can't. Let's go ahead and actually do this as our second example. Okay, so we'll start with the first. These are the 2 terms boxed in orange, or have the orange arrow going from one to the other. So that's going to be negative 4c times positive 4c. So negative 4 times positive 4 is going to give us negative 16. And then c to the power of 1 times c to the power of 1 is going to give us c to the power of 2. Okay, negative 4c to the power of 1 times positive 1. Those are the 2 outer terms. That's going to give us negative 4c to the power of 1. Move to the 2 inner terms. That's going to be these 2 here in the middle. So positive 1 times positive 4c. Okay, that's going to give us positive 4c. And we will end with positive 1 times positive 1. Okay, those are the 2 last terms. 1 times 1, if you can believe it, is 1. And now, all that's left is to write our answer in standard form while combining like terms. Okay, so there's our leading term. We have a negative 4c and a positive 4c. And those are actually going to cancel out, because that gives us 0c. So both of these end up canceling out, and we add our constant onto the end, and that's our answer. Let me make sure, actually, that this is correct. We'll go ahead and type it in. So negative 16c, keyboard shortcuts, to the power of 2 plus 1. There we go. So it is possible for terms to cancel out. That's perfectly fine when it happens. I will say, though, it won't happen in the majority of problems. Okay, but if you get one where it happens, don't worry. You're not doing anything wrong. Sometimes it happens. So before I end this video and pray that the microphone did not stop working, or that the recording software didn't stop working, I want to thank each and every one of you for dealing with the password fiasco for the last few days. Um, we got it all sorted. I thank you all for your patience, but most of all, I cannot thank you enough for your being willing to dedicate a little bit of time to continue learning algebra and reviewing algebra. I mean, you could very easily, have just, said, "Oh, I'm not, I just didn't see the email," or, I just wanted 3 weeks of Fortnite and Netflix or whatever. But those of you who have joined, I honestly cannot tell you how much it means to me. And I know that Mr. Baca, Miss Stevens, and Miss Laux feel the exact same way. We are beyond lucky to have each and every one of you on this team, and we will find some way. We will find some way, I promise you, to reward those of you who um, are dedicating time, as we go through this ridiculous, unprecedented, period of time where APS is switching to either online education or nothing at all. So, anyways, I'm going to go to bed now. Let me know if there are any changes that you would like to see. Let me know if there are more examples that you would like to see. Um, Let me know if I'm speaking too softly, too slowly. If my microphone needs to be moved further away, let me know. And I will talk to you guys soon. All right, take care.